This chapter deals with the retirement of a partner in the firm or death of a partner, which results in reconstitution of the partnership firm. A partner in a partnership firm can retire at any time. However, he or she can retire only with the consent of all the partners in the firm. A retiring partner is liable for all the acts of the firm till the date of his retirement. This means that wherever a firm does any transactions, contracts, agreements while the retiring partner is still the partner of the firm, then all such acts of the firm are binding on the retiring partner. When a partner retires from a firm, he is entitled to certain compensation from the firm for having put in his capital, the managerial expertise and competence, as well as personal business experience in favor of the firm. So, let us see what are all the balances that the retiring partner is eligible to receive from the firm. Here we can see what are all the amounts that a retiring partner is eligible to receive from the firm, as well as what are the amounts that a retiring partner is liable to pay to the firm. Firstly, we know that partner has contributed capital to the firm. So, when such partner retires or deceases, he is entitled to receive the credit balance in his capital and current accounts. These accounts also include the partner's share of profits from the profits of the firm. Let's call the total of these amounts as A. Next, when a partner retires or deceases, the firm has to calculate his share of goodwill, accumulated profits, gains on revaluation of assets and reassessments of liabilities, and profits up to the date of retirement or death. The firm has a liability to pay these amounts to the retiring or deceased partner. Let us call the total of these amounts as B. Also, the retiring or the deceased partner has to receive any interest on his capital and his salary or commission till the date of his retirement or death. Let us call the total of these amounts as C. We saw that a retiring or a deceased partner is liable to receive his share of goodwill, accumulated profits, revaluation gains, etc. Similarly, he is also liable to pay to the firm his share of goodwill which is to be written off, his share of accumulated losses and losses arising out of revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities, as well as his share of any losses up to the date of retirement or death. Let us call the total of these amounts as D. The retiring or deceased partner is also liable to pay to the firm any debit balances in his current account, any drawings made by him, or interest on such drawings. Let us call the total of these amounts as E. So we can see here the total amount due to the retiring or deceased partner is A plus B plus C minus D minus E. So that is all the sums that he is liable to receive from the firm minus all the sums that he is liable to pay to the firm. We know that when a partner retires or deceases, it results in the reconstitution of the firm. We also know that in the process of reconstitution of a firm, a lot of changes and adjustments need to be done in the books of the firm. Let us look at what kind of adjustments have to be made in the books of the firm at the time of retirement or death of a partner. When a partner retires or deceases, first and foremost, his share is absorbed by the remaining partners. The continuing partners have to establish a new ratio in which they will share the profits in future, and also the ratio in which they will gain out of the share of the retiring or the deceased partner. Once the new profit sharing ratio and the gain ratio are established, next the goodwill has to be valued. We have already seen how goodwill is calculated at the time of admission of a partner. Similarly, at the time of retirement or death also, goodwill has to be valued and appropriate accounting treatment of such goodwill has to be made in the books of the firm. This is done so that the retiring or deceased partner does not lose out on the monetary compensation that is rightfully his due to putting in his efforts to build the business reputation to the position that it has reached till the time of such reconstitution. Next, the firm should revalue its assets and reassess its liabilities. We have already seen this adjustment in the event of admission of a new partner. The value of the assets and liabilities of the business keeps changing, either increasing in value or decreasing in value. And at the time of such reconstitution, all such assets are revalued and liabilities are reassessed, and the gain or loss on such revaluation is transferred to all the partners' capital accounts. Further, any unrecorded assets and liabilities are also brought into the books of the firm. Where there is any accumulated balances of profits or losses, the same is distributed among all the partners and such accumulated balances are nullified. Next, the retiring or the deceased partner's share of profit or loss till the date of his retirement or death is calculated, since the retiring or deceased partner is liable to receive his share of profits and contribute towards his share of losses till the date of his retirement or death. The capitals and the profit sharing ratio of the partners need not necessarily be proportionate. However, at the time of retirement or death of a partner, the remaining partners may decide to adjust their capitals in such a way that it becomes proportionate to their new profit sharing ratio. So, the new capitals are calculated and the partners adjust their capitals to the new capital figure and either put in additional capital if their capital falls short or withdraw the excess if any. Once all these adjustments are made and the amount due to the retiring or deceased partner is established, then such amount has to be settled or paid to the retiring partner or to the executor of the deceased partner. Such settlement may be made by a lump sum payment in full or by treating such amount as retiring partner's loan and settling it via installments, or by partly paying it outright through cash and treating the other part as a loan. If there is any joint life policy, then appropriate accounting treatment for the same has to be done. These adjustments which we discussed here form the entire crux of the process of retirement or death of a partner. So if you know these adjustments properly, you can score full marks for any sums based on this chapter. I can also say that these topics cover almost all of the fourth lesson. Now let us look at each of these adjustments in detail in the upcoming videos and understand each of these adjustments logically.